This is the hardest video I've ever had to make. I have never seen so much interpolation in a single song.
Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up.
Oops, upside your head. Say oops upside your head.
Right on up, we're gonna funk you right on up.
Uptown, funk you up. Say uptown, funk you up. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on.
How do you even cram this many interpolations, other people's references and ideas in one song? This is a masterclass in interpolation. Heard this song? Everyone's heard this song. Or maybe the original. The band, Steam, never really existed, and the song was meant to be a throwaway. A B-side so bad that DJs would ignore it and only play the A-side and make that the hit. The writers literally tried to make Nana unplayable, but then the song became a huge hit. And to capitalize on its success, they had to create a fake band, and they had to write a bunch of new songs quickly. So they basically just rewrote that same song again. New York Disco Fucks the Knocks sample the lesser-known version in this new song.
Yeah, the night's not over, you're not trying hard enough.
I'm having a terrible hair day, but the Strokes are one of my favorite bands. I love how they're not afraid of making their songwriting influences too obvious.
Oh yeah, all right. Everybody sees me, but it's not that easy. Can't you see I'm trying? I don't even.
I want to break free.
Interpolation or not. I almost didn't make this video because I'm not a snitch, but when I heard the new Little Mix song, I was like,
How do we get here? It used to be so good. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel.
but as I started to analyze the two songs, I found that even though they have the exact same chords and there's a lot of very similar melodic and rhythmic patterns in the vocal, they're just different enough that I don't think it's... The reason this is important, infringement used to just mean stealing melodies, but in the blurred lines case, the prosecution introduced this idea of a constellation of similarities. Now, what that means is that it doesn't just have to be a melody you're ripping off. It can be sort of a melody, sort of the chord changes, sort of the beat. And if you combine all of these kindas, it equals a constellation, like the solar system, of things that are similar enough that it may constitute infringement. Anyway, like I said, I couldn't find a smoking gun, so maybe it's a complete coincidence, or it could just be nothing at all, and I could just be crazy. I might possibly just be crazy. I'm not trying to be a narc or anything, but have you heard this song?
I saw the fire in your eyes.
This doesn't appear to be infringement.
Interpolation.
At least not yet. But I bet dollars to donuts that when they wrote it, The Weeknd and fellow writers Max Martin and Oscar Holter were probably vibing to this song. Aside from the bass, there isn't anything that's directly lifted and screams, potential lawsuit. But given the given the atmosphere in the music business these days, the similarities seem brave.
Fire in your eyes.
absolutely right.
Super freak, now come inside, get on.
Yep, those are the same thing. What am I playing now? Can't touch this. Well, uh-oh. It's the same 4 notes, same key, same melody, same rhythm, same. So Rick James wrote and put out Super Freak in 1981. And Falco, who would later go on to have a hit called Rock Me Amadeus, 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 that guy, his song, Der Kommissar, came out in 1981. But importantly, it was a few months later. It might have been a little subconscious or unconscious or just plain old plagiarism. Hard to say. From what I've seen, because there aren't any credits, there's no lawsuit stuff. This kind of looks like they got away with it, which happens sometimes. And in fact, in the old days, it was more normal than not. Kind of let stuff go because all musicians are aware that they themselves are often borrowing, and people tended to not want to narc on other musicians, basically. It's kind of better the old school way. Of course, there's a line where that gets crossed. And in this case, maybe the 4 notes, even in the same key and the same rhythm and everything, maybe Rick James, who must have heard it, by the way. I say he definitely heard it because it was translated into English and became a huge top 5 hit thanks to this band. And fun fact, not only was there a cover version, there's also an interpolation version. It's same melody, same instrumentation, but they just changed the lyrics. It's an interpolation. Wait, I've got one more for you. This would be a cover of a cover. Let me know if this voice sounds familiar. Does that face look familiar? That's Trent Reznor, one of his first bands. And just to cap it all off, here's everything at the same time. See? Told ya. Sort of. This is Miley Cyrus tweeting thanks to Gloria Gaynor, the singer, and that's an important point I'll come back to in a minute, of the massive disco song, I Will Survive. Since the song came out less than a week ago, some people on the internet have been pointing out that there are some similarities to this song. Those of you with a keen eye may have noticed, Newsweek noticed, I pointed it out there, see? Trying to be subtle about it, not snitchy, but I wasn't the only one. The connection between the two songs is that they're both breakup empowerment anthems in A minor, chord sequence, the first 4 chords are shared, string melody that comes halfway through the chorus, similar melodic and rhythmic shape, I would say. I wasn't the only one to notice. Many people have commented that they hear it too, and now today we kind of have this officialization of this connection. Back to Ms. Gaynor, who gave her seal of approval. It's important to point out that she's not the songwriter. Her seal of approval is very kind, but it's sort of a passing of the torch, I suppose, from one generation to the next. Back to songwriting credits, I Will Survive was not written by Gloria Gaynor, and since an interpolation only involves the writing and not the recording, and Gloria was not herself a writer, she's not eligible to be included as a songwriter. As a result, if this is in fact found to be an interpolation, and there's some reason to believe that Miley's publicly acknowledging this might lead to some conversation between labels and publishers, it's too early to tell what, if any, the impact on royalties and publishing and credits. We do know that since Gloria Gaynor is not one of the songwriters, she will not benefit financially directly. That said, depending on what kind of deal she signed back in the 70s, she may stand to gain if the song gets an inevitable streaming bump. Perhaps it gets used on film and TV. Maybe season 5 of Stranger Things has like a disco theme, who knows? So its usage still stands to benefit her and her career and pocketbook potentially. Because it's an interpolation and not a sample, it won't be as a published writer of the song.